When I think of a mid-size two-row luxury SUV, it's pretty hard to beat the winning combination of the BMW X5. This is a nameplate that has been in America since 1999 and is one of the first sports activity SUVs out there. This was one of the first vehicles that felt more like a taller sports sedan as opposed to a clumsy utility vehicle like most of its early rivals. Now, back in 2019, we saw BMW introduce an all-new 4th generation X5, and for 2024, it's time for BMW to give the X5 a first full refresh. And this is a pretty comprehensive change. You can see it's got updated styling in the front and the rear, new wheels, more power under the hood, and a brand new infotainment system that has one of the largest screens that you're going to find in its segment. So this week, as you can see, we've gotten a hold of this X5 painted in this beautiful shade of kind of a greenish blue color. And the big question I want answered, if you guys are looking for a well-rounded two-row luxury SUV, does the BMW X5 still represent one of the best choices out there? Stay tuned to find out. So before we start talking about the exterior styling changes that BMW has made this year, I thought I'd pop the hood and remind you guys what's powering this thing. Now, in typical BMW fashion, the company offers a plethora of different engines. This model that I'm showing you here has the base engine, but I have to say, guys, it's anything but basic. Now, underneath this hood, you're going to find the company's signature motor. It's a 3-liter twin-power, single-turbo, inline 6-cylinder engine. So it's a straight 6 augmented by a 48-volt mild hybrid system. BMW gave it a pretty significant boost in power this year. It makes 375 horsepower and 398 pound-feet of torque. That's a 40 horsepower jump versus the pre-refresh model and around 60-ish more pound-feet of torque. It all goes out through an 8-speed ZF-sourced automatic transmission. Rear-wheel drive is going to be standard. My test car for an extra $2,500 has the company's signature xDrive all-wheel drive system. Even though this is a straight 6, it still actually gets excellent fuel economy thanks to the mild hybrid system and just BMW's efficiency in general. This car is rated at 23 in the city, 27 on the highway. That's on premium fuel, of course. It has a 22-gallon fuel tank, so you're looking at around 500 to 550 miles of range on a full tank, which is excellent. It's among the best range you're going to find in the segment. BMW claims 0 to 60 is around 5.3 seconds. It has a top speed of around 130 miles an hour. The X5 can also tow a crap ton. This vehicle will tow a maximum of 7,200 pounds with the tow package, and as this car sits, it weighs in at just over 5,000 pounds. But let's go ahead and close up this hood here and talk about the exterior styling. Now, I mentioned in the intro, it's a bluish green color. Literally at the last second, I forgot the name, but it's called Blue Ridge Mountain Metallic. You can see out in the sunlight here, it's a fantastic teal color, which really shows off the new lines of the new X5. This is a new color this year, and as you can see, my test car has the classic sport styling language. There's also an M Sport package, which for an extra $2,750 basically changes the front end, gives you adaptive dampers, but you can see the BMW twin kidney grille is present here. But I actually like the satin silver finish that it has with the vertical slats. It has active grille shutters, the nicely located BMW badge, and you can see the front fascia of this car I think actually looks better versus the M Sport, because as you can see over here, there's no like black area that contrasts sharply with the color. I also like the satin silver lines that go along the lower front splitter. The headlights, you can see, have also been updated with the performance LEDs, the iconic LEDs that BMW calls. You can see it's an LED low and high beam, LED turn signal. The turn signal itself as well has like a sequential look, but I have to say I don't love the fade in and fade out look of it. I actually think I prefer the sequentials that Audi does or some other brands. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of that. You can see down here there's some functional and non-functional openings, more active grille shutters. But overall, you can see it's still a handsome vehicle. This is one of the cars that BMW never really hit with the ugly stick. I think they improved the look of this compared to the pre-refresh model, especially when you get it in the right colors. Now, moving around the side profile, you can see this is a mid-size two-row luxury SUV, and it's the perfect proportions, I believe, at 117.1 inch long for the wheelbase with a 194.7 inch long overall length. I think this is the right size for most people. In fact, the X5 actually, in person, looks a lot smaller than its numbers would suggest. It does have a much taller roofline than the X6, but I think it just has that nice 3-box shape, and it's going to age extremely well. Now, my test car for $800 has this 21-inch double 5-spoke wheel with kind of like a two-tone machine in gray inner pocket look to it. It's wrapped in a Pirelli P0 all-season tire, and the tires themselves are fat. You have a 275 by 40 R21 in the front and an even fatter 315 by 35 R21 in the rear. So one of the fattest tires you're going to find, even though this doesn't have the M Sport package. You can see the brakes. I believe those are 14-inch rotors. clamped down by like a double piston caliper. The M Sport model will give you like a 6-piston caliper. And my test car doesn't have the air suspension, but it does have a fully independent suspension as well. Adaptive dampers, I believe, comes with the M Sport package. You can really see, I apologize for how dirty the vehicle is, but you can see there the beautiful metallic fleck in the paint. There's also some more silver trim here. This is actually a fake vent. It goes nicely, however, with the silver along the lower side. So you can see the mirrors, power folding, integrated turn signals, cameras around. There's more chrome and silver around the belt line of the vehicle. Silver accented roof rails. My test car also has the big panoramic sunroof that also has LEDs. That's part of the executive package. And then backing up from the car, you can see it just instantly looks like an X5, but it also, I think, just looks really upscale and really, sophisticated. But again, keep in mind the X6 is going to give you more of that swoopier coupe styling with a sportier edge. Now, looking at the rear, you can see the taillight shape is the same, but the light signature has completely changed. It also does that silly fade in and fade out that the front turn signal does, but again, I don't love the way it looks. I would have preferred it to kind of like start here and then go all the way out as opposed to fading in and out. It just almost looks like the car has like an electrical fault when the turn signal is on. So not a fan of that. You can see the roof spoiler is very, very small. You do have a integrated, or you have a rear wiper that is kind of front and center. I would have preferred it be hidden somewhere. There's lots of badging on the back, X5, and then xDrive means all-wheel drive. The 40i means the engine. The rear bumper, you can see, is different when you don't go for the M Sport. You do have these nicely integrated dual exhausts, which looks nice with all the silver trim, which I really appreciate. And then, of course, when you open up the tailgate, power lift gates included, and this car still has that classic split tailgate design, which this is something that Range Rovers also have, and I think it's a great feature because if you open this up, stuff isn't going to fall out if you've been driving, if you put groceries back here, which is nice. And then looking at the cargo area, you can see the X5 offers plentiful amount of space. You're looking at just under 34 cubic feet of space with the seats up. If you fold down the second row seats, it expands it out to 72 cubic feet of space. So again, among the better numbers in the industry. If you want to fold down these seats, however, you have to actually do it from the back seat area. There's no button or power fold feature from back here. And then if you open this up, you can see, love the fact that this is held up by a strut. Lots of storage underneath here, so there's additional storage over here. No spare tire. I believe this car actually comes with run flat tires. But overall, if you're looking for practicality, the X5 is going to have among the biggest that you're going to find in the segment. So the exterior styling changes are pretty comprehensive on this LCI version of the X5, but let's go ahead and take a look at the interior because that's where BMW again made a lot of changes. Before we get inside, however, let me show you guys the newer BMW key fob. You can see this is the company's Intelligent Access key. I have seen other BMW keys where they use a different finish where it feels a little bit heavier. This feels like a cheaper version of the key, but you can see there's a lock button here for the BMW logo. There's also unlock, power liftgate, and panic function. BMW also offers their digital key where you can use a key card or your phone as a key. For some reason, my test car, the remote start wasn't actually working on it, but in most BMWs, if you push the lock button 3 times, it'll remote start the vehicle. Because it doesn't have the little symbol here, it looks like my test car is actually missing the remote start function, which is weird because it has the executive package. But as I approach the vehicle, BMW does offer a walk-away lock and unlock feature, which you can turn on and off. But you can see if you touch that feature or that little ridge area there on the door handles, that will lock the doors. It'll do the classic beep. It'll fold the mirrors in. You can turn that on and off as well. And then when you touch the back, that's what's going to unlock the door handles, the doors, and you can see it's a traditional pull style door handle as well. Now looking at the interior of my test car, it's got a wonderful color combination of this Blue Ridge Mountain metallic with this cognac Sensitech interior. So this is technically BMW's faux leather material. I know a lot of you like to give manufacturers a lot of grievances for not putting real leather, but it is available for an extra $2,500, I believe. But I have to say, for a fake leather, this Sensitech feels really plush. It's also going to be likely more durable. It also comes with a heat and ventilation function that my tester has as part of the executive package. The seats adjust in 20 different ways from the multi-contour seats. And you can see, love the fact that the headrests have this kind of wing out effect that creates like a pillow. It's super plush, it's super soft, yet it also still holds you in place nicely. It really makes a great first impression. When you look over at the door panels, you can see the Sensitech stitching kind of carries over on the upper portion with the contrast stitching, the faux leather over here with the cognac color. This is the anthracite brown matte finish wood, which is an extra $800, I believe. My test car also has the Harman Kardon premium stereo, which is technically the upgraded stereo, but it's not the Bowers & Wilkins, but it also sounds incredible. You can see there's some real alloy trim. Down here, it has some soft touch injection molded plastic. Nice storage, of course, in the door panel. You have 2-person memory seats. And overall, it just makes a really great first impression. The window controls also have a high quality feel. The windows are one touch for all 4, and you have a power folding mirror switch there. So again, it just makes you feel like you've spent the money by going with this BMW. Now, getting inside, you can see this car has a nice, easy step-in height, thanks to, I believe, 8 inches of ground clearance. As I shut the door, you can see the door has a really solid sounding thunk. And if you don't feel like slamming it, the executive package also includes a soft close feature, which is also a very nice touch. Now, getting inside, you can see the latest version of BMW's iDrive is here with the twin displays, although it's technically iDrive 8 as opposed to 8.5. The start-stop button is down here, and you can see I love the glass controls that's included when you go for the executive package. And then when you start the vehicle up, you can see it just kind of whirs to life, and that's because it's a mild hybrid, so it doesn't have that traditional starter noise. And then if you want, you can put it into sport mode here, and love the sound of that straight 6. It's very free revving, it loves to rev, and it just has a nice sonorous snarl to it. So that really just reminds you that you're driving a BMW. Now, looking at the rest of this cabin, you can see the steering wheel. This is what the steering wheel looks like when you don't get the M Sport package. It has still a nice 9-3 grip, fat, thick rim, although I prefer the look of the M Sport package with its contrasting M stitching, but you can see the airbag cover still has stitching on it. You still get paddles on the wheel. It has a power tilt telescoping function with your steering wheel controls for the audio and the cruise control. The horn, it actually sounds really good, kind of appropriately sounding, and it also screams like, get out of my way. To people who aren't paying attention on the road. You can see the dashboard also has the Sensitech actual stitching with more of that wood that kind of carries over across the dash. And then of course here you can see the twin display. So in front of me I have a 12.3-inch cluster that's customizable, and then to the side I have a center screen that's 14.9 inches. You can see my phone is connected via the wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. It also has over-the-air updates, and you can see here, going to the native display, you can see that's what it looks like for the GPS function. The iDrive 8.5 has a slightly redesigned menu structure with more shortcuts and a better, I think, accented home screen, but you can see you can tap that little square button here. This is where you access all the different sources. There's a lot. It's a little overwhelming. I do like how the climate kind of stays in the actual lower part of the display, but to access more of its functions, you have to hit the climate function there, and then you have to kind of go in here and you have to adjust that. You can see it's got dual zone, I think actually 4-zone automatic climate control, which is nice. You do have your heated and cooled seats, which are accessed here via the screen. You have a 1-level heated steering wheel, which is also nice. With BMW, you can turn the heat and the cooled function on at the same time. With the climate package that my tester has, it also includes heated armrest pads over here and on the center console. So that's a really nice touch if you guys are on those chilly mornings where you can feel the heat coming from the actual armrest pad, which is nice. If you put the vehicle into reverse, you can see there's your full top-down 360 camera with trajectory and parking sensors. It all has really great resolution and quality. You can also go to like a different assisted view if you'd like. And you can go to like a parking view, a panoramic view, which is also really nice. So again, all this technology is what you expect. You'd expect from something that wears the BMW badge. You can see there's the embedded GPS, which BMW's GPS is fine. It's not like super, crazy good like with Google Earth, but it will certainly get the job done. Most of you are probably going to use the CarPlay function anyways, which I think looks fantastic on the new iDrive 5 or iDrive 8 system. This is just a big upgrade from the iDrive 7 in the pre-refreshed versions of the BMW X5. You can see down here, it's got this really interesting dash vent design where you have this like nice little joystick that has a nice satisfying click when you're trying to move the air in a direction you want. You can see there's almost like a glass control here with this kind of ambient light strip. The ambient lighting in this car also is fantastic. BMW lets you choose from several different colors. Some may say it's a little overwhelming, but combine that with the Sky Lounge panoramic roof with the lighting there, and it just looks phenomenal. I think it's actually one of the best ambient lightings that I've seen in the industry. You can see BMW still gives you a volume knob here, some more shortcut buttons for your defrost, rear defrost. You can see this, open this up. There's a wireless phone charging pad here, a little bit of storage, USB. BMW also offers heated and cooled cup holders, but my test car for some reason doesn't have it. I think it's available on the higher trims of this car. And you can see down here you have piano black with the glass controls, which the glass controls almost look like they belong in like a jewelry store. I love the shifter in general as well. Park is via this actual P button here, and then if you push it forward to go to reverse there, kick it back to go to drive, there's also another S mode in the transmission, and then you can see your drive mode selector is here via these buttons. There's like a Comfort, an Eco Pro, a Sport mode, And then you can see nice padded center console here, more leather stitching going across the side. And then if you open this up, you can see decent sized center console storage area. There's some lighting. There's 2 more USB charging ports in there as well. And then, as I mentioned, the seats are very comfortable and supportive, and they feel and smell like real leather. This car in general just smells expensive, which is a nice touch. And you can see, open that up, that glove box. It's huge. It goes into the dash. It's damp, and it's lined with felt. Above me, my test car has the regular headliner. You can also get an anthracite headliner as well for an extra $650. Love the panoramic roof. You can see it also opens up to vent air, which is a nice touch just over the front driver's seats. But it's nice that it also opens up as well. And again, the ambient lighting signature in here at night just looks fantastic. So I highly recommend that feature if you guys, love ambient lighting. But overall, the interior still has that typical high quality BMW feel with good visibility, great materials, excellent build quality, and great tech. So this is definitely going to be among the best if you guys are a tech junkie. But let's go ahead and hop into the back seat area and show you guys what the space is like, because the X5 is pretty large on the outside for the class, but I will say that the back seat could use more rear seat legroom. There's a ton of headroom because of the tall roof in this vehicle, but you can see the Cognac Sensitech carries over, and then you can see back here on the door panels, there's pretty nice materials with the Sensitech stitching, more stitching here, more wood, and then padded down here, you also have these manual retractable sunshades, which is a nice touch. And then if you want to fold down these seats, you can see they do fold down, although they don't create a completely flat floor, which is a little disappointing. And then if you want, you can't actually recline the seats, which is surprising how BMW doesn't offer a recline function that is usually available in some of its rivals. But getting back here, you can see this is pretty much where I'd have the seat to drive. And then as I get back here, there's also a soft close feature back here. BMW says there's 37.5 inches of legroom back here, which is slightly below average. I mean, for a car that's this big with the wheelbase, I expected it to have more like 39 inches of legroom. This is pretty similar to like a Lexus RX, for example. You do have rear seat air vents, you have 4-zone climate control, you have heated rear seats back here, but no cooled seats back here. BMW doesn't offer that, at least here in America. A little bit more storage, and then 2 USBs and a 12-volt down there. You can see, open that up, there's 2 more, there's another USB here, and there's actually a mounting spot here if you guys want to put like 2 screens for a rear seat entertainment package. There's 2 storage cubbies here in each of the front seat packs, which is nice. If you fold down this armrest, you can see there's cup holders that pop open with a little bit of a cubby storage tray, which is nice. And then in terms of the headroom space, you can see even with the panoramic roof, there's a good amount of head space, and that's because of the high roof line of this car. And I also love the fact that this comes all the way over into the back seat over my head. So in general, the backseat area of the X5 is definitely competitive, but if you're looking for more rear seat space, you are going to find more legroom in some of its rivals, like, for example, the Genesis GV80. So here we are back in the fully refreshed 2024 BMW X5. Believe it or not, I actually haven't had a chance to sample the revised X5 with essentially the base powertrain. I've had a chance to drive the plug-in hybrid and the twin-turbo V8 in the M60. Both of those models are just fantastic. But I have to say, this engine, when I experienced it in the X6, this car's, swoopier coupe sibling, it was an overachieving engine, and it should be good for about 90% of people. Because remember, it got a big power boost this year, making 375 horsepower. That's up 40, and nearly 400 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is still a pretty heavy 5,000-pound SUV, but it's hooked up with an 8-speed auto. My test car has xDrive all-wheel drive for an extra $2,500 or so. But the last time I 0 to 60 tested this powertrain in the X6, I got 4.9 seconds, which was around 0.3 seconds faster than BMW's claim. Let's go ahead and see what we can get in this car. We have it in sport mode. It's in sport mode for the transmission. We'll brake torque it. Oh, this thing feels so quick off the line. All right, we got 5.11 seconds there, so it's, again, around 0.2 seconds faster than what BMW claims, and that time is around 0.2 seconds slower than the X6. I'm not entirely sure why. I think the two vehicles weigh pretty much the same, but maybe it has to just do with the tuning of the transmission in this car or whatnot, but it's still very fast. I mean, just over 5 seconds is going to be plenty quick for the majority of people out there, and that's precisely why I think this engine is likely the sweet spot for most people. I mean, yes, there is the plug-in hybrid version, which I loved, but it is a pretty good deal and more expensive, and it adds more weight and complexity. This is a mild hybrid, remember, so it does, give you that electric boost at low speeds, and it also helps to give you a more responsive start-stop system. Let's just try flooring it this time without brake torquing and see if there's a difference. Definitely feels slower off the line when you don't brake torque it. 5.5 seconds there. So that time it's around a half a second slower. So just keep in mind, if you want the quickest acceleration, you have to brake torque it because it brings the engine's revs up to like 3,000 or 2,500 RPM, and that gets rid of the lag. There is a little bit of noticeable delay when you first put your foot down, but it's very, very minor. And I think honestly, this powertrain, combine that with the sweet sounds of its sonorous straight six, it's no wonder BMW does such a fantastic job, you know, with this engine. BMWs are known for straight sixes, and you know, this car won't disappoint you there. Now, in terms of the handling dynamics, my test car does not have the M Sport package, so we don't have the, you know, upgraded looks, the adaptive dampers, the upgraded brakes, for example. So this is just the classic sport theme, and I have to say, it still handles very much like a BMW. Now, compared to the X6, which I had a chance to drive a couple months ago, the X5 feels noticeably different. You have a higher roof line, so you have this, you know, open and airy view. It feels more like a traditional SUV built for comfort and space, as opposed to the X6, which feels more like a sporty SUV. The steering wheel in this car also is different. I actually prefer the M Sport steering wheel over this steering wheel, but it still feels good in your hands. The vehicle suspension is tuned definitely for softer dynamics, and the steering quickness is still there. It just doesn't have any feedback. I think the X6 definitely felt sportier in that regard, but this is still a rear-wheel drive chassis built on their cluster architecture. It's still one of the sportier driving vehicles out there, but just know that if you're an enthusiast and you want your X5 to feel the most nimble, you're going to want to tick that M Sport package, which is an extra $2,700. The brakes in this car also feel pretty good. The car itself just feels very solid. Ooh, God, I never get tired of listening to that engine. It's just so smooth. It loves to rev. The 8-speed auto is also bang, bang, quick shifts. Love the ZF 8-speed. It's one of the best transmissions out there. And this car is also really quiet. When you don't put your foot down, the engine, it just settles down into the background. You don't even notice it. It has very little road and wind noise. It has that luxury car feel that you know and expect from, you know, something that wears the BMW badge. Now, in terms of the visibility, I can also see out of this car really well. I can see out of the front, the side, the back very nicely. These, or the hood and the dash is also nice and low, which I really much appreciate. It makes, you know, getting in this vehicle and just driving it a cinch, because you can kind of get used to the sight lines. The one thing I wish BMW did offer was a digital camera rearview mirror, which is annoyingly not available. The Germans tend to not offer that feature, which I think is a mistake. Even just accelerating normally, you can feel just how much this engine just begs to be driven hard, but you don't have to. Again, this car is a luxury car, so I'm going to go ahead and switch the drive mode here into comfort. It actually gets rid of the tack in the instrument panel, and the car just feels like it's been tailored back. The steering gets a little bit lighter, the engine noise gets a little bit quieter, and it just coddles you. This car has really comfortable seats as well. Even though these are the Sensatec fake leather, they feel just as nice, if not nicer, than real leather, and they also are likely going to be more durable. I love this color combination, of course, with the a Blue Ridge Mountain metallic green blue with this cognac Sensatec. It just looks really classy. It looks really elegant. The one thing my test car is missing is the massage feature for an extra $1,000. I think BMW should have included the massage feature with the executive package. For an extra like $4,000 with the executive package, it should already throw in those massaging seats. In terms of driver assistance, my test car has the driver assistance professional package. For an additional $2,500, it basically gives you lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, traffic jam assist, all the stuff that you expect from a luxury brand. But if you don't get that package, this car lacks adaptive cruise control. I find that to be inexcusable, especially with a car that's this expensive. BMW really needs to make adaptive cruise control standard, and then if they want to make like a hands-free driving optional, that seems okay in the luxury space, but it's just infuriating and insulting that this car doesn't come standard. But it works well when you do have the feature, so if you guys do a lot of highway driving, highly recommend that. In terms of the fuel efficiency, this is where the X5 with the B58 straight six is also an overachiever, because it's rated at 2327 mpg. In my week's worth of driving, I was averaging 24 miles to the gallon in mostly mixed driving. On the highway, this car will do closer to 28, 29 mpg, which is excellent. You'll do just over 500 to 550 miles of range in this car. So excellent range. That's because it has a big 22-gallon fuel tank. Premium is required, of course. It's a BMW. What do you expect? They require you to put premium in this vehicle, but you get your rewarded with excellent range, excellent power. So it's no wonder to me, or it's no surprise to me, that the X5 continues to be BMW's bestseller here in America, and also one of the best-selling luxury midsize SUVs on the market. And with the improvements that they've made for this LCI refresh model, they've only just made the car better, especially with the styling, with the power, the efficiency, with this new infotainment system. So if you guys are looking for an incredibly well-rounded and practical luxury midsize SUV that'll still put a smile on your face, it's among the most fuel efficient and quickest out there, make sure you put this one at the very top of your list. So with just over 72,500 units sold in America last year, the BMW X5 was BMW's best-selling vehicle. And after spending a full week with the big LCI changes, the life cycle impulse changes that BMW has made, it's pretty easy to see why, because this still is an incredibly well-rounded mid-size luxury SUV. If you don't need 3 rows, because BMW again offers the X7 if you guys want a 3-row vehicle, this is going to basically fit your lifestyle very easily. It's extremely comfortable, it's extremely spacious. It has real sports sedan-like handling. Even though you don't have the M Sport package on this model, it still handles and drives more like a taller sports sedan, which is kind of the trademark characteristic of the X5. And as you guys also saw, the engine in this car is anything but basic. 0 to 60 in just over 5 seconds makes this among the quickest accelerating vehicles out there. And with up to 25 mpg combined, it's also one of the most fuel efficient, which is just incredible that BMW was able to achieve both with this particular model. Now, a few, grievances that I have with the X5, it's definitely still very expensive. The backseat isn't quite as spacious as some rivals, considering the size of this vehicle. And in general, I think BMW's infotainment system, while the new one is definitely an improvement, there is a little bit of a learning curve. Some of you who prefer actual knobs and buttons aren't going to like how some of the climate systems have migrated into the screen. But once you live with the car, you do get used to it relatively quickly. And of course, if you're also looking to, spend more money or get more power, BMW offers the plug-in hybrid and then 2 versions of the V8, which the X5M Competition is going to be more like a sport or a supercar killer as opposed to a sports SUV. But if you guys are looking to get your hands on the latest X5, this has been on sale for a while now, and pricing for the new model starts at just over $65,000 for this engine with rear-wheel drive. I imagine most of you are going to add the company's xDrive all-wheel drive for around $2,500. That's going to start at just over $68,000. My test car here, of course, with lots of options on it, from the executive package to the upgrades for the wheels, for the Harman Kardon stereo, the upgraded Sensitech interior, the executive lounge package that also includes the soft closed doors. There's a lot of features, like the driver assistance professional package as well, that basically balloons the price of my test car to just over $80,000. I know 80 grand sounds like a lot of money, but just keep in mind a lot of its competitors do cost more, or they also have less power. Now, if you are comparing this to its Japanese rivals, the X5 is more expensive, but if you're comparing it to something like the Audi Q7 or Q8 or the Mercedes-Benz GLE, or a Porsche Cayenne, this is where the X5 actually offers tons of value, especially when you're looking at the Mercedes or the Porsche. Now, I haven't had a chance to drive the latest version of the Cayenne. It just got a big refresh, but I'd say that for those of you who don't necessarily need the Porsche badge or maximum performance, there is something about the X5 that just feels incredibly well-rounded, and it should make it, again, to the very top of your list. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the latest version, the 2024 BMW X5. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.